Well, first and foremost, I want to thank Ms. Crystal Rice from Black Economic Exchange Group for bringing me out here. Thank you so much, Detroit. I appreciate you guys coming out, taking time out of your busy schedule to hang with your boy, Jay Jones. So today, we're going to be talking about a new Black Wall Street in 3D, past, present, and future, and how we can leverage technology to support Black-owned businesses and also to create millionaires in our community. So I'm not going to bore you with a whole lot of stuff. And after this, we're going to do a Q&A, but I just want to go a little bit about myself. So have you listened to the podcast? Everybody heard the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So for those of you who haven't listened to my podcast, I'm a serial entrepreneur. After I graduated from college, I was a financial consultant, which they call it now. Back when I was in there, I was a stockbroker for Merrill Lynch. Subsequent to that, I started my own business. But I had always had businesses when I was little. So at the age of 9, I'm from Philadelphia, I would take a big bag of potato chips, I'd break that bag down into small bags, and then I'd go sell that during the summertime on the block while we're out playing. So some of y'all might know what re-upping is, right? Anybody know what re-upping is? You know what re-upping is? So, but that was the concept, buy low, sell high. Out of the 17 businesses, I built 2 multi-million-dollar businesses. My first one was a mortgage company, which I owned for 10 years. And I was doing great till the crash of 2006. So now, how do I get people to buy? I go on Amazon, I use their pay-per-click advertising. All of my verbiage, everything is aligned. It's positioned as a high-end product. You probably can't see, but this is from 6 months from in 2015 of June to December, I grossed $270,000. You can't probably see this. June, that's like 3,300. I'll read it from here because I can't even see it over here. August, 28,000. September, 35,411. October, 43,000. November, 41,000. The only reason it dipped in November was because Amazon shut my listing down for 7 days and I lost about 7 or 8 grand. Okay. And in December of 2015, $94,729.06. My profit margin is about 70% after advertising. So you can do the math. Out of 270,000, whatever 70% of that is, I made that in a 6-month time period. And normally, I was in Tupelo, Mississippi, doing a book talk. And the brother that brought me in said, man, because I normally don't put that up. He said, man, I want you to put it up. I want people to see. And this is directly from Amazon, okay? I want people to see what's possible. Now, I'm giving you a disclaimer. This probably is not normal. Gentleman and I were talking in the back. Sometimes you hit the right product or the right thing at the right time. And I hit it right, and from there it took off. Not because I'm smarter than anybody else, but it's because I look for a problem, I look to solve a problem, and I want to give a positive solution to that problem. So those are the key things when you want to build a business. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of my background that, you know, if you didn't know who I am, let you know that I'm not up here just blowing smoke. I'm not a guru, I'm a do-ru. Everything I talk about on my podcast, in my book, I do. I don't talk about it. There's theory and then there's practical application. I focus on practical application. So raise your hands if you ever heard me talk about the difference between knowledge and know-how. Mm-hmm. All right. Yep. For those of you who don't know the difference, knowledge can be acquired by standing up here and watching me right here. You can go look at a video. You can go read a book. So for example, if I had an F-15 fighter jet right out front, and you watch the video about how to fly one, pull the stick down, pull it up, do this, do that, you have the knowledge, right? But do you know how to fly the F-15 fighter jet if you got behind the cockpit? No. Know-how comes from doing. So as an entrepreneur, You can sit down and talk about theory. You can have a 500-page business plan, and that's all great because you do need a roadmap. But know-how comes from doing. So, and that's the best way to learn. So I always talk about know-how versus knowledge. All right, so that was a little background on me. Right now, I'm going to go through Black Wall Street, past, present, and future. What it was, what we are today in terms of black economics, and what we could be. So, and I'll breeze through this stuff. And O.W. Gurley, he was probably the founder of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So he was the son of slaves, and he moved to Oklahoma for the land grab in the late 1800s. Now, he purchased 40 acres of land that was stipulated that could only be sold to black folk. So when he bought this land, if a white person wanted to buy it, they weren't going to let him profit or make money from white folk. So he said, okay. So he started selling the other black folk. And one of the first buildings he built was a rooming house along a dusty trail on the railroad tracks. And that actually was Greenwood Avenue. So he went on to build 3 two-story buildings and residential homes, and he founded a church. And by 1913, more businesses started to come into the Greenwood area. Another major figure that people don't really know about is J.D. Stratford. He was the son of slaves born in Kentucky, and he built the largest owned hotel in America back in that time. The hotel was opulent. It was filled with gold, diamonds. Everything was up top of the line. Now, he was a lawyer from Oberlin College, and when Booker T. Washington came in to visit the hotel, he was like, man, this is like the Negro Wall Street. And that's where Black Wall Street came from. Now, this is what was encompassed in Black Wall Street. Over 600 businesses, 35 square block area, all right? That's a large area. 21 churches, 21 restaurants, 30 grocery stores, 2 movie theaters, and I'm gonna talk about one of those in a minute. A hospital, a bank, post office, schools, libraries, law firms, bus systems, and more. Self-contained. That's what we're talking about in terms of building your own economic power base and not relying on somebody else, okay? Now, there's a couple of notable businesses, because when people talk about Black Wall Street, they talk about it like it's a fantasy. So I just want to highlight a couple of people for you. Dreamland Theater was owned by John and Lula Williams. It had over 700 seats. How many theaters do you know they had 700 seats? And that was back in early 1900s. Mabel Little's famous parlor is beauty parlor. They said all the sisters went there. Presley Little, her husband, owned a cafe, famous for a smothered chicken and rice. And they said even white folks would dine there. So these are real people that were doing real things. And the reason I'm giving you guys the history is because without knowing the history, you don't know what your progress is. So if there's no point of demarcation, then you're not going to know where you've gone. Destruction of Black Wall Street. All right. Now, May 30th, 1921, 19-year-old brother named Dickie Rowland goes downtown in Tulsa, gets on an elevator. There was a white lady on the elevator named Sarah Page. Sarah Page and Dickie Rowland are the only 2 people on the elevator. Supposedly, Sarah Page said that Dickie Rowland assaulted her. He said he only touched her on the arm to ask her a question. So when the elevator came down, she starts screaming, and the brother does what he does, he hightails it out of there. So now the police come, and I'm condensing the story, they pick Dickie Rowland up, and they take him back down to the courthouse. By that afternoon, the afternoon newspaper had Dickie Rowland assaults Sarah Page, blah, 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 blah. So all the white folks are in arms. They're going crazy. So they go down to the courthouse because obviously at that time lynching was still in play. Now, once the brothers, J.B. Stratford, O.W. Gurley, they heard that about 50 brothers went to the courthouse to make sure he didn't get lynched. And that was the following day. I think it was May 31st or something like that. And and so what happened was, while they were out there at the courthouse that evening, there was a World War I veteran, black veteran, who carried his gun with him. And he said that, hey, look, I was a vet. I got the right to bear arms. Somehow, during the skirmish, there were reportedly 1,500 white people out there wanting Dickie Rowland's head, and the black guys went out there and there was a shot fired. When that shot was fired, a skirmish broke out. Now, the brothers being outnumbered went back to Tulsa, Black Wall Street. And what ensued was basically the largest massacre in the United States. Okay, one of the largest terroristic acts in the United States. So what the law did then, they actually deputized any white male. Didn't matter if they were criminal or whatever. You're a deputy for the day because we're going to go down here and we're going to destroy this. Now, what you have to understand is that in Tulsa, in Greenwood, that section, the people there were more prosperous than the white folks. And so all it takes is one little action, and then they're going to say, okay, they deserve that. This has been going on for years. A white woman says, oh, somebody attacked me. Okay, let's go burn this thing down. All right, you see it happening all the time. Emmett Till, which was subsequent to this. It's a common narrative. So what happens is they went there, over 1,200 homes destroyed, 215 homes looted, going in, killing people, taking their belongings. 9,000 blacks are homeless. Death toll estimated from 100 to 300. 6,000 black people were arrested. For what? Defending themselves. Okay? Now, it gets even worse. Well, let me go back here. So, when the black business owners, which were over 600 of them, tried to get insurance, they actually bombed. They had planes dropping fire bombs on top of the houses. People were going in killing people. Anybody ever been to Tulsa, Oklahoma? Have you been to the museum?
Not to the museum, but I've been there to the city.
If you ever get a chance, you need to go to that museum. It's a tremendous museum. And a lot of these pictures are actually from that museum. So what happened was, this is how deep it goes when I talk about economics. So when these black business owners tried to get their insurance money from burned down businesses, guess what happened? Insurance company didn't pay because they said the black folk incited a riot. So when you become beholden to somebody else controlling what's in hip pocket national, you're always on, you never are going to be in control. So that's why when I talk about black economic empowerment, and I always talk about there's no revolution without economics, that's the truth. Because if somebody can control you, that's it. So how many people go to a job that they can't stand because you're getting paid? Somebody's paying you, right? If you could make your own money, then you could focus on the things that were important to you. So that was Black Wall Street in the past. And I want to lay that foundation so everybody would understand what we came from. Now we're going to go real quick to the future, or the present. Y'all heard about Gucci, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody got Gucci sneakers on in here? Thank you. So this was a Gucci sweater, right? And obviously, what does it look like? It's a caricature of a black person with big red lips. Now, state of black America, as of this writing, $1.2 trillion estimated buying power in 2018. We spend more on name brand items per capita than any other ethnicity. We account for 85% of all hair care and beauty products sold in the U.S. It's estimated that we spend less than 2 cents of every dollar, less than 2 cents of every dollar with a black-owned business. That doesn't make a damn bit of sense. Now, the dollar circulates in the Asian community 20 days, Jewish community 17 days, white community 6 hours. And white community 17 days, 30 Asian, 20 Jewish, 17 in white, 6 hours in the black community. So, let me show you exactly what that looks like. How many people get paid every week or every other week? All right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you get paid on Friday, right? You stop in the morning, you get your direct deposit, right? So you stop in the morning, get some gas. Is that a black-owned gas station? Mm-hmm. Probably not. You go get some coffee. Go to Dunkin' Donuts. Black-owned? That franchise probably not. All right. Now, it's lunchtime. You and your coworker, hey, let's go get some lunch. All right. Probably go somewhere that's not black-owned for lunch. After work, you and your buddy say, man, let's go grab a beer. you know, get some drinks, hang out, and, you know, have some dinner. Was that establishment black owned? Probably not. So that day, so if you netted $1,000 that on that paycheck, you probably spent during that day, before you even got home from the day you got paid, you probably spent at least $100. All right, that's 10% of what you made before you even got back to the crib. And what happens is we do this unconsciously because it's so natural for us. It's like, yeah, you know, I'm getting paid, and everybody else is going to take the time to go and find a business and people that work in that business or own that business that look like you, that look like, yeah, we don't do that. So we need to make a concerted effort to do it. This is ridiculous. 2 stinking cents. All right? Now, that's why e-commerce is imperative for us. So Crystal could be sitting in her basement with her slippers on, making money because she has a business that's online. I could be back in Philly and I see something on Crystal's site. Oh, let me patronize my sister's business. Now, I'm putting money in her pocket, and then she in turn can continue to keep the process going. And if we don't focus on this, we're going to continue to be the laughing stock economically of the world. And so when I talk about e-commerce, I was talking to the gentleman back there, it's just a delivery method. It's a delivery method. How do you deliver your product or service? How do you market your product or service? And so this is what we're dealing with today. And the reason Gucci is getting away with this, because we have ignorance, as in not knowing, and we're still going to buy it. They know we're still going to buy it. Oh, we can go ahead and put this nonsense up here. Guess what? Let me count on these fools to continue to buy it. How about, I still don't get this Popeye's chicken sandwich thing? Now, if they wanted to really put eugenics into play, half of us would have been dead right now. Because all they had to do was put something in that chicken sandwich. So when I see fools standing in line around the corner for a freaking chicken sandwich, I don't want to calm down, but for a freaking chicken sandwich, and you're not going to stand in line to vote, you're not going to stand in line to get in your brother or your sister's store, and you're going to stand in line for a stupid chicken sandwich? Come on, man. It doesn't make any sense. And so the mindset, you know, taking a conscious or making a conscious effort to support black-owned businesses. It's economics, family. Economics controls everything. Don't let it fool you. Economics controls politics. It's a pay-for-play game, baby. You pay me, I'm going to take care of you. Is there any gentrification going on in Detroit right now?
Oh, yeah.
You know why that's happening? Because this is what happens. Political action committees, a lot of them formed, and I'll tell you, this is what happened in Philly right now, by builders, developers. They form political action committees or groups. They go in, they grease the politicians. So when grandma's been living in her house in North Philly for 40 years, and now the tax goes up and grandma can't stay in that house, guess what? Grandma got to leave. And if they buy her out, they're going to buy her out at a lower value than the house is worth. And guess what happens? When all of us get swept out, then the developers who already greased the palms of the politicians come in with these new developments. That's economics. So when I hear people talk about I don't vote, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. I get it when you say, oh, it doesn't matter on a national election because it doesn't hit home, but you better vote local. You better vote local. I don't care what anybody tells you. You concerned about what's going on in your schools? You better vote for your school board. You concerned about gentrification in your neighborhood? You better vote local. And if you don't, I don't even have no words for it. So economics. Economics controls the narrative on, not politics, but on education. Our schools, we don't have books in our schools. We don't have computers. We don't have the resources that other schools do. Why? It's economics. And that goes back to politics. Now, in terms of media, how are we portrayed in media? If I don't have on a dress, am I getting on TV a lot of times? For a black man? No. Because somebody else is controlling that narrative. So we need to start using our economics to build, not just, be producing TV shows, building networks. Okay? Right now it's something called OTT, over the top, which means it's not connected to cable. So all of these streaming services, So instead of having to ask Comcast or Xfinity Cable, I don't know what you guys have out here, can I get my station on here? The hell with that. Create your own network so you can control the narrative of what we do. And that's economics, all right? Politics, media, everything is economics. So if we don't focus on this right here, nothing else is going to make a difference. Because all we're doing, we're passengers. It's time to start driving the bus instead of being on the bus, in the back of the bus. All right?
Yeah.
Now, what does it mean to Black America? The racial wealth inequality gap continues to go. All right? So, right here, that's obviously not us on the top. That's white folk. Average income, household wealth, $122,000 for white folks. All right? Black folks, we down here, $1,200. Latino, $1,600. Average, come on. That's what we're worth. Household worth, well, wealth rather. So we're down here at the bottom. And that comes from not having our own businesses. Because what happens when you have your own businesses? You can hire who you want, right?
Yeah.
So you go to the Chinese spot around the corner. Who do they have working for? Chinese folk.
Yeah.
And I ain't mad at them. They own the business. You can hire who you want. Statistics show that most people hire people that they're comfortable with. And I'm comfortable with my people. They're comfortable with their people. So you can't get mad at them. You need to get mad because you let them come in your neighborhood and extract all the resources. So we're over here talking about, oh, this is a blighted area. They come in and they see dollars. And they taking it right out of your pockets. So it affects us, all right? In terms of not having our own businesses to hire our own. All right, Black unemployment at an all-time low now. Trump thinks he did it, but wait, give it about 6 months? We'll see what happens. It's hard to close the wealth gap when you're unemployed. And not just unemployed, undervalued. We can have the same qualifications as a white person. And guess what? Who do you think is going to make more money? It ain't going to be me. That's because they control the whole system. All right, now, Black businesses are estimated to close 3 or 4 times more than white businesses. And that's due to a lot of factors. And I'll touch on those shortly. Most wealth is obtained real estate or business ownership. So real estate, for us anyway, usually your primary home, real estate investor. Most wealthy people have some type of real estate in their portfolio. Business ownership and also investing. So if you're into the stock market. Now, I'm a coach and consultant and a serial entrepreneur. And I talk to folk all day. Wanda, when did I talk to you? Last week?
Yes.
Yeah. But a lot of times, the biggest reason people don't start businesses are time, money, fear, failure, lack of business knowledge, lack of marketing knowledge. If you can't market your business, it doesn't matter, right? So, time. If you're working for somebody else, it's hard. You can do it, but if you work the 9 to 5, that means from 5 to whenever, you got to go get your grind on. You may have kids, you may have, parents you have to take care of and things like that. Money. If you don't have the resources, a lot of times you can't get in businesses. Plain and simple. Fear of failure. A lot of times we don't make a step forward because we're scared. I say something on TV, on radio, on the podcast, I say, if you're scared, get a dog.
Scared to get a what, please?
Get a dog. If you're scared, get a dog. Right? That's it. It's nothing to be scared of. If you understand what you're dealing with, it's nothing to be scared of. Lack of business knowledge and lack of marketing knowledge. Okay? I was just talking about on the podcast yesterday, no prospects, no leads, no customers, no sales, no business. So if you don't have any prospects and if you're not building a database, which is your biggest asset as a business, then you're not going to be in business. Current trends and how to leverage them. Retail stores are closing. Sears, Mattress Firm, Brookstone, Nine West, Walking Company, Toys R Us, even though they're about to come back. E-commerce. Estimated retail e-commerce sales in the United States from 2016 to 2022. So you're looking at 360 million in 2016. By 2022, 638, 638 billion, I'm sorry, estimated in 2022. So what do we know about e-commerce? It's here, And every year it's going to continue to grow. So if you're not in that space, people think that it's saturated. It's not. It's not. Over 50% of e-commerce sales are made in the United States anyway, are made on Amazon. And that went up, and each year it continues to go up. So Amazon is the big bad wolf. Now, Amazon has pros and cons. You sell on Amazon, it's their traffic, it's their customers. You don't control the customer. So what you really need to do is look at building, in addition to Amazon, building your own e-commerce sites where you can control the customers. And if you listen to Monday's Black on Watch Company out of Portsmouth, Virginia, and he rarely sells on Amazon, he says, because he can't control the customer. So when you sell on Amazon, you don't get the customer information. You'll get their name and address, but you don't get their email. So Amazon will tell you as a seller, these are our customers. You're just selling your product to our customers. So without that database, family, where you can nurture and continue to build, let me just say this real quick. I think I said it on the last podcast. I got so many of them. But if I have a 50,000 list database, so people that raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested in your product or service, and I promote an offer to that 50,000 people. If 10,000 people take that offer, that's 5,000 people that purchase my product or service. If my database is 865 people, and I propose an offer, 10% of the people take it, that's 86 people. So the difference between you going out of business and having a multi-million-dollar business is in the list, family. It's in the list. You see a lot of these companies and these guys out there in e-commerce, guys and gals, and you think that they're smarter than you. They're not smarter than you. What they recognize is the bigger my list is, the bigger my database, the more money I'm going to make. It's a function of the numbers. So when Borders Bookstore went out of business, Barnes and Nobles didn't buy their brick and mortar. They didn't buy their books. They bought their customer database out of bankruptcy. That's where the money is. It's in your database. The first thing you need to do when you build a business is you better start building your database. As soon as you figure out what your business is, then you need to start building a database. So if you want to start a donut company or a donut shop, right? You got that in your mind. Now you need to put something out there to build your database. It could be a coupon. When my donut shop opens, get your first dozen free. And you're building up that list while you're getting your business together. Problem is most people start their product or service and then they try to figure out, well, who am I going to sell to? That's backwards. But that's what nobody really talks about. So I don't want to digress. But e-commerce, family, is where it's at. All right? These are worldwide e-commerce numbers. These are kind of old. Percentage of worldwide e-commerce sales. China, 23%. United Kingdom, 19%. These are all their sales. You look in the U.S., percentage of sales, retail versus e-commerce is only 9%. So right now it's about 16%. So that's still telling you most people physically go and buy their products. Okay? So that means that there's opportunity, correct? So even though it looks like e-commerce is all over, there's still a lot of room to grow. And I'm breezing through these. The future, all right? What can happen if we work together? Strong worldwide black economy, worldwide. I didn't say United States. It's a worldwide economy. New businesses will help reduce unemployment by hiring our own people. Business ownership is an asset, and it can increase your net worth and shrink the wealth gap if you build a solid business. We can positively affect politics, media, entrepreneurship, education, funneling our monies to areas that are important to us. So, anybody familiar with the Koch brothers?
Yeah.
One of them just died. So Koch brothers, those of you who don't know, billionaire business owners who are staunch Republicans. How you doing, sir? Come on in. Sorry. Who are staunch Republicans who, come on in, fam. That'll be $5 a person. Y'all related. So the Koch brothers, who are staunch Republicans, what they decided to do was, during the midterm election, I believe it was President Obama's second term, that midterm election, they identified close to 100 races in all over the country that they were going to funnel monies to push their Republican candidates. Out of those close to 100 candidates that they gave money for radio, TV advertising, over, I think it was like 69 or 70 of those people actually won the race. So we can positively affect politics, media, and entrepreneurship if we focus our monies. So
what? I'm sorry.
no, I'm just saying how the Koch brothers use their funds, political action committee. What they did was they weaponized their dollars to be able to help control politics for the Republican Party so they can continue to enact the things that they want to enact. And the only way they could do that was with economics, an economic power base, which is money. So what I was saying is we can positively affect politics, media, entrepreneurship, and education if we start to funnel our money. Problem is we always want to elect a black candidate, and that may be fine. The problem is we don't have the money behind the black candidate that the other people, the white folk do, that agrees the candidate. So when I get in office and the Koch brothers say, yo, remember, I took care of you. What you gonna do when you get in office? That candidate's gonna take care of whatever the Koch brothers' initiatives are. So we as black folk, instead of sitting up there not voting, we need to start creating political action committees and putting money behind the political system. So when we put people in office, they're gonna do stuff for us. So just like you were talking about that avenue right now, they're doing that construction on. Mm-hmm. So we have people in there, I don't know the ifs and ands and buts, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but that shouldn't happen. Mm-hmm. That shouldn't happen. Absolutely. You can't be out there, shutting down black businesses because you're playing games and trying to gentrify the area.
And our city council for that district is not doing nothing.
Yeah, because we probably didn't grease their pockets.
There you go.
That's it.
Oh, his pockets got greased, but we have the version of Koch brothers would be Dan Gilbert.
Okay,
Dan
right.
Gilbert has his hand, and he's trying to get Highland Park right now. So, and now he got his eyes on the Avenue of Fashion. So, and he owns everything downtown.
That's it. Cleveland Cavalier guy, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So we need to become independent and self-sufficient so we can prosper like Black Wall Street. All right. So you guys that came in late, I was talking about a new Black Wall Street, the past, the present, and the future. So this is the future here. So that's why we need an economic power base. And we're going to do a little Q&A. But here's some of the things, I talked about. I don't just try to talk things. I try to give people actionable steps. And I try to give people platforms to be able to do what we need to do and build an economic power base. So if you listen to the podcast, you guys listen to the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So BeSmartByBlack.com, that's a platform where any black product producer can put your stuff up and connect with black consumers worldwide. Hire black freelancers. If you're a freelancer, my brother Towondo over here is a photographer. Put your information up there and you can connect with people and businesses that are looking for black freelancers, okay? And you want to start selling something for yourself online. If you're not selling something online now, I don't care if it's a number 2 pencil and a paperclip. Y'all need to be selling something online, okay? Because there's no reason, that's where it's at, e-commerce, right? Flip here, that's that. All right, everybody got a cell phone? I want to give y'all some resources. If you take out your cell phone and text J Detroit, it could be all lowercase, 555-888. And you text J Detroit to 555-888. It should pop up and you'll have a list of resources, all of my contact information and resources. There'll be a link to my book, which is A New Black Wall Street. Even though I bought the physical books here, I would recommend that you buy, if you buy the book, and I'll go back to, I recommend that you buy the electronic book because it's been revised and updated with a fast start guide. So when you type on that, did you get stuff back?
Waiting on it.
Oh, okay. All right, let me know, make sure it comes out. So whoever text that in there.
Yeah, I got something back.
She gave you 2 links in there?
Well, if one was already on there, I guess I signed up for you before.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
And, but yeah, I have one link. Thanks, Detroit book link.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
But that's fine, because that has everything on there too.
Okay.
Okay, so you there, yeah, you know what, if you signed up before, you'll get that.
Oh, okay. I've signed up.
Yeah, okay. So that it has my link to the book, which is anewblackwallstreet.com. Like I said, I bought the physical books, but I would recommend you get the digital book. It's a wrap. We don't understand. How you doing? You don't understand that it's a war going on. And it's not even covert anymore, it's overt. And the only way you can focus or function in a war is through strength. The weak get eaten up. And strength comes from economic strength. It's economic power base. If you don't remember anything from talking to your boy Jay Jones today, building an economic power base. Economics controls politics, it controls media, it controls education, it controls everything. And when we're beholden to somebody else, guess what? You got no power. So, and with that, Q&A, guys. Anything you want to ask me about entrepreneurship, about myself, about business, any questions, and this is normally when a lot of the good stuff comes out.
Podcast for quite some time now,
Thank you.
and
Appreciate it.
okay, a couple of questions. First of all, with all your products and everything that you do you handle all of your social media and that yourself, or do you have someone that helps you take care of that?
My social media is garbage.
Well,
I gotta admit.
Or who helps you with your landing pages
Oh,
and
the
your
landing
lead
pages.
generations and things like that?
That's me.
You do everything.
That. Now the social media, I'm about to fire my oldest daughter because she's not doing the job. So we won't have that conversation next week. But I'm sorry.
No,
but,
you answer my question. Because
Okay.
that's where I was going with it. That's
Okay.
where I was going. So you definitely answered
Cool.
my question.
All right. Anybody else? Any other questions? Yes, Kristen, hold on. I'm about to charge you. This is about a consultation.
told you I was gonna come.
I'm messing with you, man. What's that?
Do you recommend people would that go into this?
$1 a month investment in all of my courses and stuff like that, as opposed to paying for them a la carte. You can go online and have access to all of this stuff. And the reason I did that is somebody told me I'm underpricing myself, and I know I am. But the more I can connect and help people, that's really the true goal. Crystal reached out to me. Me and Maya reached out to me. She was like, yo, you coming? I want to come and connect with you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
This is what it's all about. So you guys here locally in Detroit, make sure that y'all exchange numbers. There's a lot of synergies that you guys can have in here. And that's what we got to start doing. It's a small group here, but when we start building that to a level and we really believe and trust each other, there's no stopping us. Anytime we got a level playing field, guys, we win.
Yeah.
Look at sports, look at entertainment, now we got to get it in business. Anytime the playing field is level, we take over, we win. That's it. Game over.